I love Prolific Writer's Life. I do. I love, 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 love. I'm Karen Lorraine Collado, and I'm working on my first memoir entitled In Plain Sight. The answer was always there. And it's a memoir about surviving traumatic events. And I had a traumatic event of losing my 16-year career. And it's the process of how I am rebuilding myself. And through that, creating the life I've always dreamt of. So I'm sharing that process for people out there that have suffered any kind of loss or any kind of trauma. This is for anyone out there. And I hope that it helps take away some of that loneliness when you're going through such a dark time. And I just hope to be like someone that can shed light and say, I promise it's going to be okay. Just do your part. Take that next step. Even though you don't have the answer yet, keep going forward and it will come. Just the way Prolific Writer's Life came into my life. It's part of my path, part of my journey. What inspired me to become a member after the initial session that I had was the sense of community. I felt that I was going to have this support to grow my dream, to make it a reality. And it was actually after my initial consultation with the founder, Lorraine, from Prolific Writer's Life, that connection that I immediately had with her, I saw it in her eyes, the excitement about my project. And that was the first time I truly had someone believe that this was possible. And there was no reason. So I had that sense of, through this person, this lady, this community, this is going to happen. That is what motivated me to join Prolific Writer's Life. And it has been the best decision ever. What my life was like pre-Prolific Writer's Life. There was no writing life. I had this dream ruminating in my head of what I wanted, yet timing is everything, I think, in life. And I hadn't lived out that story yet that I wanted to tell and share. And there was no writing life. So it just was up here. And that's the difference now. Now it's here. So it's becoming a manuscript. So that's what's so exciting about being part of Prolific Writer's Life, that is turning my dream into a reality. It's not just in here anymore. It's going to be in someone's hand pretty soon. It was on New Year's Eve, actually, when I was writing what was going to happen this year. And I knew that this was the number one thing. I wanted to start a public speaking platform about the story that I'm writing in my memoir and write that book. I already had the title, all this. And so it was, again, the timing. A year from now, what is it that you wish you would have started or you would have done? And I don't want any more years to go by with not having written my book. And so actually it was on New Year's Eve that I made this decision. It is happening in 2024. And I started searching, like, I didn't even know what to type in Google, but just kind of like a meetup or something where writers can get together and write together. And that's how I found Prolific Writer's Life. And I wrote down maybe like 2 or 3, but this was the only one I needed after I met. This was my first one. So it was love at first sight. How life is like me for now as a writer joining Prolific Writer's Life is just that. I'm a writer now. It was up here before. It was an idea, a concept, something that I was, thinking about, but it's actually turned me into the writer, and it's evolving. So that's the difference that it's made, is that I am now a writer. What happens at Prolific Writers Life, the community, it is a merging of these brilliant minds. And let me say also, there's novice writers, which that's what I am, and expert writers, writers that have had one or many publications already, yet they're so humble. You do not feel intimidated. And that was the biggest thing that I was nervous about. Since I was new at this, it's a very inviting community, very encouraging, supportive. Community is where it's at. There's a power in numbers, and this is proof of it. And so what happens is ideas go around, and things fruition, things form. Something that wouldn't have happened before happens because of that collective energy when we come together. And it's just a joy to learn about everybody. And I have found my spirit writer in my group, I call it. And her writing, she's a writer after my heart. I'm all about languages, food, culture, music. And there she is. And I almost finished her book. And that's it. Her writing has deliciously influenced mine. And that's what I needed. What you need, that's the beauty of Prolific Writers Life. You sometimes don't even know what you need, but the thing that you need shows up in something that someone says, something that they're going through. And another beautiful thing about this is there's the business aspect of writing a book. It's just not writing your ideas down. There's a lot to it, the social media, the marketing, using the softwares, and you get that too at Prolific Writers Life. So you get that knowledge of the business of also writing the book. And there's so many different classes that you can take geared to what you need, and even ideas that you can approach the founder, Lorraine, and she'll put things together for you. So it's very custom, yet it's also catered to many at the same time. But since we're all doing the same thing, we all have the same purpose and mission, it all applies. So it's just a very give and take, quid pro quo, joyful, honest, fun, really, I have to say, loving community. And I feel embraced. And there's something that I learned recently, a term called third space. And it's this concept of that you need somewhere to go where you can find your people, where you can connect, and it's like a safe place. You can be who you are. That's exactly what this is for me. It's a third space, but really it's my first space, because it's the space where I'm growing and evolving, and that Karen, the real Karen, it's just coming out. So it's made me grow. The level of growth is profound for me. It's on so many levels. So you get all that for a very, 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 very minimal fee each month. My spirit writer is the lovely Paula Wagner, and she's the author of Newcomers in an Ancient Land, Adventures, Love, and Seeking Myself in the 1960s in Israel. Also, she's writing her second one, and it's based of her time in France. And the woman is phenomenal. She's very humble, again. And these are like expert, recognized, seasoned writers. Yet this humility that you always, so that's why this Prolific Writers Life, it's not just for novice, it's definitely for also experienced writers, because you always need that component of community and feedback. It's just, it helps wherever you are. It's kind of like that concept of Prolific Writers Life meets you where you're at in your writing journey. So if you have any inclination or small little minute vision for yourself of writing a book, this is where you want to do it. Unexpected connections that have been formed over Prolific Writers Life for me have been many. The people, definitely, and I'll get to people in a second, but this has connected the other dreams that I've had about having a public speaking platform and the social marketing of all this, the ideas that I get, again, from Lorraine, there's a gentleman named Matthew that's brilliant. That's also another passion of mine, all the things that he's involved in music and his writing. He writes children books, yet he inspires through music and also travel and language. And so the opportunities that have come to me, actually, I'm doing an internship right now. I'm in the middle of getting a degree. And they've been so generous at Community Writers Live that there is a biologist in our community. And he's been so gracious when I asked if I could complete maybe my internship with him, because I am studying something in neurobiology that has to do with behaviors. That opened up. Lorraine, the founder, again, gave me the great idea about doing podcasts. We have a brilliant guy that's hilarious named David that's written his first book. He's a playwright, but now he's written his first book about how not to make it in Hollywood, which is very funny because I'm actually from those parts. And it's brilliant. It's, for me, what's putting him on the map, because he's so clever. The beauty about this too is all your gifts, they come out here. And it's a beautiful way to express your gifts and who you are and your superpowers, as the founder always states, Lorraine. And so the connections that I've made, yes, many things have come out of knowing each one of them. Paula Wagner, with her memoir, she has given me a lot of ideas and books to read and agents that I could contact in that field, in that genre of memoirs. There's a lot of that Lorraine helps us with marketing ideas, the concept of SEO. So they'll mention things there that maybe I don't know about. I'll go and research and find that there are things that I need to know about to market my book. And so, yes, there's been many resources that I've been guided to. And so you're just going to have to join the group at Prolific Writers Live to really get these questions answered. But it's limitless, all the things that you can receive. It's not just about the writing, which it is all about the writing, but there's so much more to it. And that is something that I've received being in the community. Had I not been in this community, number one, the book probably would not be happening, not probably, it would not be happening. So number one, the book would not be happening. It's happening now. Number two, I would have had no idea of all these other factors. And they make it easy. Something that would be so overwhelming on my own, it's like divide and conquer here. And you've got your team. It literally is. When I think of Prolific Writers Life and I try to explain it to my mom or anyone, it's like I almost want to say my publisher, my editor, and no one is specifically doing that, but you get that kind of feedback. You get that knowledge that you need so you can deliver a top-rate product to that agent. What I would say to the person that's on the fence, that's been thinking like I was a long time of getting their book done, how much more time are you going to let go by without making this happen for yourself? Ask yourself, what's it worth to you to not write that book? Then ask yourself, what's it worth to me to write that book? Well, then that's your answer to join Prolific Writers Life. There's nothing to be on the fence about. If you really want to, you'll do it. Just decide and do it. And I have so much fun at Prolific Writers Live. It's a blast. Each time I show up, it's like we're at a little party. It is so fun. It's fun to hear everybody. It's fun. You get your time and space to say what you want to say. It's just such an inviting, open community, and everyone's thoughts are invited. No, you never feel criticized. You feel encouraged. So it's just a fun, that hour, I always wish it was like 2 or 3 hours. It goes by so fast. And what the beauty is that you can be on Prolific Writers Life every day. there's something for everyone. There's many options, but that's the feeling I always leave with. And then when I'm ready to log on, it's exciting because I'm going to see my new friends, my new family. My community is so important to me. And it's just it's a privilege and honor and an absolute joy to log on for our session. How my confidence is as a new writer is it's growing. It grows every day. And how it grows is because I'm producing the material. And so when I go back and look at it, I'll be amazed. Like, I wrote that? And that's what happens at Prolific Writer's Life. That hour that you would have wasted on social media or something, you're investing that hour into your life, into your dream. So my confidence, each time I read something that I've written, my confidence grows because I see the changes in me. And not only the changes, I see what's developed in me and also what's always been in me. And this is where it's being groomed, I would say. So definitely, I know once I finish that last chapter, I'm going to feel so accomplished. Pre-publishing, imagine published, and then all that's going to come from it. Through Prolific Writer's Life, I'm truly creating my dream vocation. I'm creating that life I always wanted to live. It's just there, I can touch it. The options, all the options you have at Prolific Writer's Life of the different types of sessions you can join. There are workshops, the workshops that I've attended. We have a gentleman named Rod that his energy is off the hook. He pumps up whatever it is that you're doing. It just grows. Just to see him, you've already leveled up. And he's had many workshops, and I try to join every one of them. And it was about developing your characters, say if you're writing fiction, but you can apply it to your nonfiction also. That's the beauty. And so I've attended, basically how do you breathe life into your characters? I've learned the system. John Dukakis he's a journalist and a fiction writer, and he holds workshops about healing through your writing, which that is basically what I'm working on. And it's invaluable. You get like these professor levels of academics that are sharing their knowledge and their success with you. So there's another component here. The generosity is huge through everyone here. And so there's workshops about workshops on like the business again aspect of this, like growing your blogs, that you can create your own blog through this. That's something that's coming next for me that will support my book, the project of my book. And there's also the founding partner, Bob. Bob he helps you with like any kind of computer questions or how to work different softwares to write your book. And it goes beyond, it's just like I said, every facet. So there's help with the computer system, like the softwares that you're using. There's, prompt me because now I'm going blank. There's just so many workshops.
Maybe just words count?
Oh yeah, the words count is where we sit and use that time to write, and we check in with each other. But there's all sorts of types of workshops that will help you grow your project, that will help influence your project, that helps you to finish your project. In fact, Lorraine, the founder of Prolific Writer's Life, has written her book called Finish Your Book, which that's what all this is all about. So yes, I'm sure there's communities out there that are fun. But the question is, did people finish their book? Here, people are finishing their books. Prolific Writer's Life has a partnership with a Toastmasters called Rough Riders. And that's been another component of this, that as members of Prolific Writer's Life, you have access to joining that group. And they have so many things that inspire writing. There's a silent hour. There's a prompt. There's an hour where you're prompted with either a quote or a graphic. The other day was a door, and just what does the door speak to you? And so it's journaling, yet that I journaled and a poem that I wrote through there actually ended up being and part of my book and part of my story. It helps me to beef up some of the chapters because it's in your subconscious. So these things come forward. And so one helps the other. It's just a symbiotic relationship that we have with other entities. And that's what Prolific Writers Life is, a community in that sense, that they're generous, that they want to bring other communities. And it's all about supporting each other. There's no me-itis in this whole venture. It's not all about me. It's about us. And that us is in my writing, because that us is what's making this happen for me. So there's a lot of collaboration with other type groups. And one of them is Rough Riders Toastmasters. So I participated in a workshop held at Prolific Writers Life by John Didakis, and it was entitled The Art of Memoir. The Art of Memoir. And this was like paramount in really having that structure and that advice. So absolutely, it has, cultivated this piece of work, this piece of artwork that is my book. The way I envision my life once I have my book in my hands is that's going to be, I was a flight attendant, and that's going to be actually my ticket that's going to tour me around the world. That's going to be my ticket to come into people's hearts and lives, to help them through my story, my perspective. I hope to help pull them out of that dark place and show them that look what I lived through and look where I am now. And if I can do it, believe me, I believe in you. You definitely can do it. That's always what I have felt through this. In the circumstances that I have found myself and the times that I went through these past 10 years, if I could get through that, I know that you can too. Because it's been ugly, but I've turned something very ugly into something very beautiful. So the way I picture my life is finally living the way I've always dreamt and that I know I deserve. And I just want to meet the world in its entirety and the people of the world and touch people's lives, and theirs touch mine. So that's what I see. It's my passport into people's hearts. So sign up at Prolific Writers Life. There's nothing else to think about. Just do it. If you want your book in your hands, this is a way to do it. And for me, it was the best way. I love Prolific Writers Life. I do. I love, 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 love. I'm so happy. I'm so grateful to the founder, Lorraine, that it all starts with an idea. And look, you're listening to me right now talk about Prolific Writers Life, but it started with her idea. And it's the same thing you have in your head. It starts with an idea. She did it. I'm doing it. We're all doing it. So I just love Prolific Writers Life.